we find a 42-footer from Catalina, and we lucked out this time. The captain was on board during my visit. Out back, we get a walk-through off the scoop, but it's tighter back here, harder to entertain the executives, but also harder to fall out of. And pause here, an outboard mount built into the stern pulpit framework. Interesting, and a spot for a flagpole. It's a nice detail. And pause again, Catalina makes a twin helm. I told you guys, twin helms were all the rage this year, and this bench, the captain came out and showed me that it flips and folds out to make a wider berth. The whole thing flips open and then there's a cushion for it. That's pretty cool. More traditionally though, you won't be running up the side deck from behind the wheel on this thing. Access forward is from the normal spot between the primary winch and the Dodger. As Catalina does though, we see full-length jib tracks on the side deck, and everything is well inboard of the rail to help us climb a little higher when the going gets windward. Loads of stainless handrails and a solid vang in front of a conventional traveler for the main sheet. Also of note, we step around the outside of the shrouds on this boat. Everyone else has them terminate at the rail, but Catalina put the chain plates inboard so the jib can come in tighter. And while that last boat didn't give us an anchor locker, this boat gives us one we could hide in if we had to. With a proud double stainless roller up front, you can definitely fit a straight shank rockna on, because they did. Coming aft, we get a self-tacking jib track and lots of well-organized line work. That's also a theme this year, well-organized decks. And speaking of, pause here to note this panel on the floor. Instead of line catch bags, all the coach top line work can fall into a pocket in the floor. It's interesting. I can't see any downside to this, and it seems to be a nice feature. Headed inside, it's plush in here. Wood grain everywhere, chunky seat cushions, big port lights. This boat is a split aft as well, with a wet head to port and a traditional galley to starboard. But remember I said the captain was on board.
You won't see hardly anywhere else. On both sides,
Oh, steering access.
you have total
Can I take
access.
a picture?
Yeah. You can go all the way back to the steering quadrant and see that board there with the cutout?
Yeah.
Take a couple of thumb screws, pull that out, and you can sit there in this really large locker with a large door, work on your steering system.
Yeah. No kidding.
And then here, of course, most of the service items are on this side of the genset.
Yeah.
You've got through holes right down there, packing gland.
Wow. Where are the fuel filters, on the front, in the side?
Oh, it gets better.
Oh, does it?
I'll show you. We have our filters locker and the door to the dipstick, so you don't have to actually undo anything.
Right.
You simply open up this door.
Yeah.
Got filters locker, the raw water,
Oh, yeah.
coolant, reservoir.
An easy check on the checklist in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, to go a step further, you want to check that oil level. Right there's the dipstick.
Wow. Smart.
And you didn't have to take anything apart.
Exactly, yeah. You'd almost end up keeping a little mat right there.
Yeah.
With a little box with your rag every morning. Go check the
Right.
oil.
So they've done this particular model. They really figured out owner maintenance.
Yeah, yeah.
Most sailors tend to be fairly handy.
Yeah, yeah. I find this boat to be very beautiful on the inside. Lots of high-grade woodwork and joinery, and the sole was even everywhere I walked. Up front, we get a fairly plush master cabin with its own head and a separate shower. Back in the saloon, the captain pointed out that Catalina took the time to match up all the wood grain on the cabinetry. Everything flows together in a very soothing way. It feels high-end, but functional.